Emsolation.
I don't think parents congratulate kids when they come out every time. I know I will if that happens here.
And Michael Lucas.
I'm Michael, I'm from the suburbs, I can't play sport, and would anyone like to watch Aladdin on VHS?
This is Emsolation.
You also enjoy tragic, dramatic, over-the-top, completely wound-up bonkers divas.
That's true.
You're in Emsolation.
Well, hello there, and welcome to Emsolation. My name is Em. As alluded to in the title of this podcast, you do know that Emsolation is a combination of M and isolation because this podcast was born in isolation. Ah-ha-ha! You probably already knew that. Em Rossiano, yes. I'm a writer, a singer, a stand-up comedian, a maximalist power queen, and together with my best friend since I was 11, acclaimed Australian screenwriter Mr. Michael Lucas, I bring you this podcast each Thursday or whenever you choose to listen to it. And it's a podcast of things that we enjoy during the week. It's usually involving, like pop culture or politics, pop divas, princesses. This week is no exception. Before I get to this week, though, I want to talk about what's happening on December the 12th. Yep, a very Emsolation Christmas live streamed event. Michael and I will be appearing in your lounge room on Sunday, December the 12th. Are you so excited about this? You're going to witness us do this show live, plus get an hour of bonus content people who are not there will never ever see. Okay? This is the selling point. You're going to get basically an hour of me singing songs from The Masked Singer and carols, Christmas carols, and cello will be involved. We'll do a very professional first hour, which will be the podcast that will then go out the following Thursday. But if you're there live on the night, you'll be getting things, very special things. Ticket sales are going amazingly well. You must get in soon because we do have a cap at 5,000. And that's just so we ensure the stream is of good quality and, make it a bit exclusive. But this is a big deal, and I probably haven't said this enough or at all. Obviously, no one will give me my own TV show to host.
This is, my friends, an outrage.
God knows I've been trying. Been trying for about 15 years, and I've pitched many, many shows. Nearly got a couple up, but no one has been brave enough just to pull the trigger on allowing me to host something. And I think I'd be really good at it. So, as I've done with everything else in my career, when a straight white man has said no, don't think so, I've gone and done it my bloody self.
Sometimes you have to slap them in the face just to get their attention.
So we're making a TV show and you guys are making it possible. 100%, make no bones about this, your ticket sales are directly funding this production. You can imagine putting on a TV show is pretty expensive, and I'm doing this because my community is buying tickets. So there's no middleman at all, nothing, from you to me, which is kind of exciting and wild. And imagine what we could accomplish if I harness all of you. If I can convince every single person that hears this podcast to part with between $5 and $25, imagine the things we could make.
I know someone here wants in on this exclusive opportunity.
It kind of sounds like a threat, doesn't it? To the television industry. Anyway, I want to thank everyone who's coming on board. I know it might be a scary prospect. Some of you may have never done anything like this, but literally it's easy. The Crowdcast app is super easy, I promise. And you can also watch it for a week after. So if you can't make it on the night, you'll be able to catch up whatever time you want. You'll be able to watch it again and again, in fact. If you are there on the night, maybe you want to do some encore screenings, whatever you want. All the information is at the Emsolation Podcast Instagram. And if you're on the newsletter as well, we sent out some great videos on how to work it all out. But I'll make sure Ben puts that in the newsletter tomorrow as well. How have you been? I am at the tail end of some pretty bad gastro. Thanks for asking. What did we eat? Oh, my goodness. I got home from Fashion Week on Monday night, and serves me right, really, for leaving the house about 2 a.m. I woke up and it was biblical. What are you doing? It's coming out of me like lava. It was the kind of diarrhea, when you need your mum, you want your mum. I had to hold the wall for support, and look, I couldn't even feel it at one point. It was, sorry, that's too much. It's too much. It was bad. So I've only been existing on kind of gluten-free crackers and broth. So I'm a bit lightheaded. It's fine. I'm fine. I'm not fine. Totally not. But that's okay. The show must go on, and it will, and it could go anywhere. So that's my fun news. We're going to be talking about Taylor Swift re-releasing Red and how Jake Gyllenhaal had a terrible weekend because of the re-release. Michael went to Sydney for the Sydney Film Festival where his husband's amazing short film debuted. I very interested to hear how Adrian's mother reacted to the film. She had no idea of the content. I'll let all this unfold. I won't give too much away. And also we talk about Fashion Week. A few things went down. I ran into Melissa Leong from MasterChef, got some goss. So, it's a fun old pod. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here from the start, I love you. I love your commitment to the podcast. All right, that's enough from me. I've just got a text message actually from Michael's husband, Adrian. Michael is driving. He wants you to know the traffic is horrendous and he'll be 10 minutes late. Truth be told, we're at Lucy Durack's 40th and it was tough to sneak out during the speeches. Oh, my God. Oh, I love a live text read. That's fine. That's good. Well, I've got a little bit longer to spend with you guys. I'll let you go. I mean, obviously we're pre-recording this, so Michael will be showing up in about 5 seconds. All right, gang, we'll speak very shortly. Oh, God, I'm all over the place. I'm distracted because Michael's late and now I have 10 whole minutes. What am I going to do? All right. Thanks for listening. Yeah, I did everything. Play the music.
Em Rusciano and Michael Lucas. This is Emsolation.
Fresh from his trip to Sydney. Michael Lucas, you went interstate.
I really did. On a plane. I got out. I saw people. I went to theatres. Sat in movie theatres. Went to underground bars, like where I was just sitting there the whole time going, "What is the ventilation system here? Oh my God!"
What's the mask situation in Sydney?
Loose. I actually think Sydney is sitting on similar levels of restriction to us. The difference is compliance. Because, I would just go into these venues and I would check myself in and everything, just waiting for the moment when someone checked, my vaccination status or whatever. It didn't seem to be happening much. And then also in Melbourne, I feel like there is still a real culture of you'll go to a venue and you'll be at the table, take your mask off, but still you will have that mask back on when you go to the bar and when you do all those sort of things. In Sydney, I don't know. That wasn't my experience of it.
Well, essentially, we're also living in the town of Footloose. We're in the Footloose, the musical in Melbourne. You're not allowed to dance yet.
Let's dance!
Is that true?
Yeah, there's no dancing in Melbourne, I think, until we hit 90%. So can you confirm dancing in Sydney?
I actually can't confirm that. I did not participate in dancing myself, but I felt like it was happening. But isn't that the story of my life?
Pretty much. Now, why were you in Sydney? Why were you in Sydney?
It was very exciting. Adrian's short film, the actor-nominated short film Dwarf Planet, was screening in the Sydney Film Festival. It was selected. They only select about 10 short films out of 300 and something, and his was one of them. So it was in the big event cinemas in the middle of Sydney, and it was a big event. It was quite the crash course of coming out of lockdown. But it was great.
Again, really relatable. Come out of lockdown, your film debuts at Sydney Film Festival. It's just the little things, guys. We're all just doing this one step at a time. Adrian's delightful mother, she's a bit of an icon amongst our little family.
Yeah.
We often will rush to the newspaper review second. We'll go to Adrian's mother's review first.
Her hot take on everything is worth it.
Oh, mate, her hot take. So what was her hot take? Set the scene.
Well, I firstly have to say that the short film is about a sort of an insecure teenage boy who wants to lose his virginity, so rents a gigolo when his parents are away. And it's just a little two-hander between the two of them, and it's very poignant. But Adrian hadn't told his mum what the story was. And I was like, you really better give her some forewarning.
Yeah, because by the title, she might have thought it was a rabbit documentary.
That's right. Could have been anything. Exactly.
Yep.
But we did on the night before, but it sort of went a bit awry because he said, I based this off a short story, which is true. It was based from a book of short stories. And then he said, he sort of said, and the author is a New Zealand guy that actually now lives in China, Mum, and speaks perfect Mandarin. And Adrian's mum latched onto that and just wanted to see examples of him online.
Oh, because Adrian's mum is Chinese, we should point out. Yes.
Chinese Malay. And But we were kind of so that was great, but we're kind of but did she hear the bit where he said male prostitute? Because it feels like that's the salient information. What does she think? Anyway, She was a very she was a great audience for all the short films. There were a couple of horror films and she was really jumpy. She's a really expressive audience member, which is great. And then lights came up and it finished and we're all waiting for the moment. And
Don't do her voice. You can't do it.
No, but her response was, I think I'll catch the tram back to the car park. And then I said to Adrian, I think you should feel very proud. The film really worked well. It really got some laughs. How are you feeling? And he goes, I feel pretty good. And then his mum said, you go ahead because I will be slow. But it was with love. It was just, it's just not, I don't think it would have occurred to her that you might say something about the film that he's just watched go out in front of hundreds of people and it's a hugely consequential point in his career. No, the fact that she was there was incredibly supportive and she was a great audience member, and she also took us out to have, Adrian's mum is also she's budget minded, and she can tell you that right now in the pandemic, lobster is cheap, and she took us out to eat full lobster before we went there because it is cheap because you know why? The Chinese aren't buying Australian lobsters at the moment. She'll tell you all about it. So that was our experience and it was perfect. It was exactly what I wanted.
Okay, good. Terrific. Well, I'll be talking to Adrian about that when he's here Friday night. I want to hear the full version. I want to hear him do his mother's voice because it's perfect. I hope he's okay. You may have to pay for counselling over that one.
No, he's all right. It went really well. I got lots of laughs. It was great.
No, but you still look at your mother.
I
still
know.
You could get a standing ovation for 10 minutes. But that's
Totally.
okay.
Yeah,
it's
your
okay.
mother's the opinion that you want. It's
We
fine.
all
It's
know
good.
that. Now, while you were doing that, I was attending the Melbourne Fashion Week.
Who even are you?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how I got an invite.
You were sitting like, and I just
front
want to say,
row.
I've never been to a fashion show like this. Never. I'm just familiar with where you see like the Olsen twins and Gwyneth Paltrow, and that's where Em was.
Yeah, I was sitting next to Melissa Leung from MasterChef.
Oh,
And Brooke from The Bachelor.
I'm the first Indigenous bisexual bachelorette.
oh.
I know. I was in rare air, man. I was loving it. My dress didn't arrive. My friend Lara was sending a dress from Perth and they lost it. They just lost it. And Lara's like, it'll come. And then Monday morning it hadn't arrived and I had nothing to wear. Literally, I'd been in tracksuits for 2 years. What am I going to wear? It was either my Rage and Rainbow showgirl outfit or my tie-dye matching tracksuit that I've been getting around with for 18 months. So
I just want to interject here and say I have seen Em's wardrobe, which is part of her renovation that she did, that I really dispute she had nothing to wear.
No, you don't understand. It's like, this is not something I can like blag and go in kooky Em. Like, oh, look at Em. She's so kooky in sequins and feathers. It's a different vibe. It's supporting Australian fashion designers. You have to wear an Australian fashion designer. Like, it was an Australian fashion designer runway. I couldn't rock in something, one of my drag queens had sewn me from who knows where. Like, it's not how it runs. And it has to be something that is kind of in at the moment. Like, it's a whole unspoken rule, all right? So don't, like, of course I have a wardrobe full of clothes with nothing to wear. So I'm driving, and I said to Scott, and my day's Monday with Leo, and Scott very graciously said, go, I've got a client at 1, be back by 1. So I'm frantically driving around town, and first of all, I went to like the local Westfield. I don't know why. I thought I'd find something there, and I'm walking around. I couldn't find. I was sweating, and I phoned Scott. I said, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to drive to Armadale, which is like an hour from me. And this is where this shop was, this designer that I love. And he's like, okay, you'll be fine. Scott was giving me a pep talk. I'm like, why does this always happen to me? I tried to be organised and now I'm just sweaty and gross and everyone's looking at me and I haven't put on any makeup and I should have got dressed up because they're all like, everyone was being like, I was losing my mind. And so I went to this shop and I found a dress and there were women protesting on High Street Armadale. For those of you who don't know, High Street Armadale is like rich white ladies. Bougie. And there were women protesting Country Road because of pay disputes.
Oh, I thought you were talking something about vaccination or something like that.
No, it was a group of women in high vis saying that they were not being treated fairly by Country Road, and this is Country Road Heartland, and there were so many upset
Tell
women.
you what, I bet the high vis hurt them that they had to wear that.
I was in Mecca buying lipstick, and the lady in front of me was this lady with a tight, like, think Pru and True.
Hey, can I help you? You're just happy bronzing.
Tight, white, blonde, French knot, and a linen shirt with a jumper tied over her shoulders. She had some Tods loafers on. And she was
Proven
going,
true
oh,
100% based on women that live in this area,
Yeah.
these exact women.
yeah. And she's like, oh, they're hideous. They're so loud. What are they protesting? Don't they know that it makes us not want to listen? And I said, they're actually protesting Country Road. And she's like, what? Country Road? What is what? I thought she was going to have a stroke. I said, yeah, they feel they're in unfair work conditions. And she's like, you mean Country Road? And I'm like, yeah, full on. And she was devastated. Anyway, I digress. So I found a dress. I got home and then got myself ready. I did my own hair and
you found a
makeup.
good dress. So that was the dress that you wore?
That was a backup dress. Yeah.
Oh, it was very good though, because I thought the end of the story was that your dress arrived. So well done, worth it.
That was the dress that I bought. And then so I got ready and I arrived and a Joel Creasy came with me and my friend Santilla came with me and I straight away was saying weird stuff to people. But then what I did differently is that I everyone I ran into, I just flat out said, I have ADHD and ASD. I found this out. It might be weird. I hope that's okay. And they were all just like, you've always been weird. Like no one was shocked when I said it. And then I just felt like I could relax. So I have genuinely started announcing my neurodiversity.
It's your kickoff.
and it really sorts.
It comes before your name.
It really sorts the wheat from the chaff, I have to say. People either
I think it's a good litmus test. If someone freaks out at that, do you really want to be hanging with them?
Nah. So I did. So we had dinner, which was lovely, and then we had to do the red carpet. Oh,
I just want to feel like someone has to put a first world problems disclaimer. But it's true.
First world problem disclaimer.
First world problems, but also, for someone.
Self-conscious, awkward.
Yes, for the ADHD riddled person, it's just a red carpet is not a happy place.
And I get overstimulated and the photographers are yelling at you, smile, put your hand on your hip. And you're just like, and I used to comply because I thought I had to, but now I didn't. So if you're wondering why in the photos my hands are really like down and placid on my hips, because I was being in defiance to the photographers telling me to put my hands on my hips.
Well, I thought it looked good. You looked fantastic, and I couldn't see your nipples, so everything had come up.
No, it was all fine. My bra strap kept popping out, and when I was sitting down watching the shows, I was very self-conscious of the fact I had to keep adjusting my bra.
Yeah.
I was very kind of sweaty and shiny, but all in all, it was fine until. I have to say, the runway was amazing and inclusive. Women and men.
It looked like your kind of runway.
It
was.
was.
I felt like out of all the kinds of shows that you could see, it had a lot in there for you.
Which is why I was invited, I think. They were inviting people who, like the front row, everyone there was very colourful and people I know who have been very active within LGBTQI and with Indigenous activists and, people from all different walks of life, not the usual front row, which I applaud. Kate & Co PR, who did the PR for Melbourne Fashion Festival and the parade, there were women my size on the catwalk. Like, it was glorious. There were women of all shapes and sizes. There were women with disabilities. There were women of colour. There were trans women. There were trans men, non-binary. It was just an accurate representation of Australia for once on a friggin' runway. And it was like, I felt really joyous after it. Like, it was like, oh, get over yourself on the stupid red carpet. You're here. What a great thing to have witnessed. So it was really fantastic. And I got to chat with Melissa Leong.
I know. For long-time listeners of the pod, I mean, this is a payoff moment.
Yeah, I totally chatted with Melissa Leong and we talked about her new boyfriend. They're so in love. She's really busy. Honestly, she was just luminous with happiness. I said to her, of course, because I'm weird, I go, he looks like Jock. Like,
I can't believe you said that, but I'm really proud of you. And also, what did she say?
She just laughed. I go, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was like I had to say it. It was in my mind. It's like the first thing I saw you. Like, I just wanted to say, Mel, he looks like Jock. Like, before I even said hello and you look amazing. I said, I've been trying to make it come out. I tried to stop.
Everyone's thinking it. Everyone that has followed her Instagram is thinking it.
Which is why on Instagram I wrote a little caption saying Mel was very patient with my weirdness. Because
I just had nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with looking like Jock. In fact, applause. A younger Jock, who wouldn't, frankly.
Anyway, it was great. Until I got home. And I woke up with biblical diarrhea.
I have voided more than Tom's body weight in the last 12 hours alone.
And that's really really where I've been
That was
ever
always
since.
where this story was going to end for you. You couldn't have a front row fashion show thing that didn't end in explosive diarrhea. And I want to say that I was like watching, like most people I imagine that are listening, I saw this fashion show through M Stories and was just kind of like, look at her. She's out and about. She's frocked up. She's mingling with celebs. It's all happening. And then I text her and she's like, I've shut the bed twice.
I did. Guys, this is true. And it wasn't the bed, it was my pajamas.
Okay, important
Yeah.
distinction.
And
It
there's,
is.
like-
That is an important distinction.
There's something very visceral and like primal and disturbing when you poo your pants. You know, it's trauma.
Yeah.
It's not
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I'm not in control of my body. It's similar to when you go into labour. It's very similar in that notion
Without such a good payoff,
No
I'd
payoff.
wager.
horrible payoff. Like a washing load on 90 degrees payoff. Yeah. Like it went through to my hoodie. It was not good. But
Wow.
it's like you're just like, okay, I'm just a passenger now. I'm just a passenger and my body is doing with it as it pleases. It was not good.
It can be worse. I once shat myself about 150 metres from my house.
What? I love this. Everyone has a shit themselves story. It's like you could get around a campfire, and this is the great leveler. It is the great common, like we can all get together and we can be as Turaki, Armadale High Street country road as we like, but that woman in front of me has shat herself at some point in her life.
Yeah.
Tell me your shitting yourself story.
My one, I wasn't even sick. That makes it worse. I went out to a cafe and I was doing some morning writing and I was having some double espressos, which do have a potent effect on me, but I wasn't, and I think maybe I'd had, some Chinese takeaway for dinner the night before or something like that. And then I was walking back and then at a certain point I started to feel, ooh, and I made a little calculation. Should I head back to the cafe to use facilities or just keep walking home? And I was sort of at that point where home was a little bit further away, but it's home. So I thought, I reckon I can make it. And then I made it like to the edge of my street and I just felt it go. And I was wearing jeans and I felt like I don't know how visible this is. I don't know what's happening. But I had a backpack and so I sort of held the backpack in a bit of a way and just thought, just keep going, clench. But unfortunately, when I turned into my street, I have never seen so many neighbours out the front. Like it was just, and I'm like, it's
was Ramsay
townhouses.
Street.
They're tightly worked together. Oh, they were all like collecting. No, they were just having a good old chat. I'm sorry. And I bolted. And it's just really hard because you've got to measure your steps because if you take too long a stride, it's just going to compound the problem. So I just did my best to do a natural walking style and just felt it worse and worse and worse. Anyway, I chucked out those jeans.
Oh, yeah.
I just was like, gone, put them in a bag, done.
Yeah. There's a certain amount.
And I had
that
to have
you-
a shower.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I would have just got in the shower clothed, which is what I did. Like, I just got in the shower in my pajamas.
Yeah.
There's a certain threshold of shit in clothes where they weren't being thrown in the bin and that, and let's just move on and never, ever discuss it again. I used to do that with the girls' undies when they were toilet training. I threw out so many pairs of Little Mermaid knickers. I don't even want to think about it.
You just hit a point where you're like, even if I could nappy sand the shit out of
it's
this,
not enough.
literally, it's the memory will always be there. And they will always be the shit jeans.
I'm going to put a link to stories. I think we need to get everyone else's shit stories. I'm going to do this because they're great. It's great to sit around a campfire and just go, okay, when did you shit yourself? Sorry, yeah. So that's good. Okay, I feel good. I feel like that's great.
M. Rusciano and Michael Lucas. This is Emsolation.
Now, this has nothing to do with shitting yourself, but something I've been really obsessing over is on Friday, Taylor Swift re-released Red. And this album came out in 2012. It was her fourth album, but it's the one I would say affected the hardcore early Swifties the most. It was very emotional. It was pretty much all about a massive heartbreak with a well-known Hollywood actor. And I'm so pleased for Taylor Swift. I just really sat there on Friday and thought, fuck, she's fucking done it. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, the first 6 albums and all her masters belong to her first record company, Big Machine.
Yes.
The masters are important because the master is the song's first recording and all future copies are made from that. But also the person who owns the master gets all the royalties from all the recordings. Every Spotify stream, every iTunes stream, every CD, every vinyl goes to the person who owns the master. So she signed a record deal when she was 15 and took a cash bonus, but in exchange signed away all the rights to her first 6 albums.
Yeah, and you can so see how it would happen when you're starting out, you're hungry, you're so happy that someone wants to sign you and all that sort of stuff, and you just don't think that, oh, but you do read the fine print, but you think, you know what, I'm lucky, and then it comes back to haunt you in such a serious way.
And she would absolutely regret it now. And who would have foreseen the juggernaut? You know, but it all should also be illegal. Record companies should not be allowed to do that. And this is an issue rife amongst the music industry of artists not owning their own work, signing away their creative rights. And
I would argue in the television industry as well.
Really?
Like I own the newsreader, but really, really regularly. You just sell your concepts and your scripts to major international production companies, and are told you're lucky. And you never find out. You never find out when, you know, how much money comes in afterwards. So, it's so easy to exploit desperate artists in the early parts of their career. But she has subverted it.
She has. I mean, I'll tell you, a company I work for tried to trademark my name underneath me. My fucking name. Yeah. So the biggest advice and rule my entertainment lawyer said to me when we started working together, always own your IP. No matter what. That's all you have as an artist. And Spotify don't own us. We own us. Like, Emsolation is mine. It's not Spotify, just borrow it. And that was the reason I went with them, because of that. So anyway.
Although, how fascinating if in 10 years' time we had to re-record every single podcast.
So Taylor walked away from Big Machine in 2017, the end of it. And then in 2018, there was rumours that they were going to be sold to one Scooter Braun. Now, Scooter Braun is the manager for Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, Demi Lovato, and for a long time, Kanye West. Also, Taylor Swift's arch nemesis and enemy.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm going to let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
So he then did buy her old record company for $300 million, therefore owning all of Taylor's back catalogue. And at the time, she wrote on Tumblr that this was the worst case scenario. She had received incessant manipulative bullying from Scooter for years around the Kanye West stuff. And he has now stripped me of my life's work, and I wasn't given the opportunity to buy essentially my music legacy. And it's now about to lie in the hands of someone who tried to dismantle it. So it was big.
Yeah, there was no backwards and coming forwards when she responded to that. Woo.
Nah. And then, to add insult to injury, Scooter sold her masters to a private equity firm called Shamrock Holdings, which prompted Taylor to come out and say, that is the second time my music has been sold without my permission or knowledge, and Scooter will still continue to profit from any copies sold or streams made of her original masters through this deal. So Taylor gave up trying to re-own her catalogue and committed to re-recording 180 songs.
Amazing. But also, wasn't it, I thought that in this story, wasn't it partially a response that Kelly Clarkson had? Like, didn't Kelly Clarkson say, well, this might be a really stupid idea, but I'm just going to put it out there anyway. What would happen legally if she just re-recorded them? And the answer is legally then she owns those. Yep. She takes it back. But it is an enormous amount of work.
Yeah, it's huge. It's massive. And the other great thing is she's not changing them very much, but every song and record that comes out, the new one has Taylor's version next to it. So people who want the songs will either choose to give Scooter Braun the money or Taylor Swift the money. And we all know people are going to want to give it to Taylor. So it's kind of genius. Yeah. It's 180 songs, 6 albums. Taylor Swift, the original, Fearless, Speak Now, Red, 1989, Reputation. And she dropped Fearless already in April. Red came out on Friday. We don't know when the others are coming, but we know they are. I love it so much hearing her sing the old songs because it's kind of like this brave revisiting of her teenage diaries as a 31-year-old woman. And not only that, all of her fans, most of her hardcore fans are 31-year-olds now and longing for those carefree days. You do when you turn 30, you think, fuck, I am no longer a teenager. So it's kind of genius. And it's this beautiful kind of exhibition of like that wild hormonal time. I love it. I love it.
But also she has she's made really smart choices to evolve the music as well, because it's really a delicate line, because essentially you just want to hear the song you loved. But at the same time, it is interesting to hear what alterations would she make in her delivery or anything else in the time that's transpired. And for me as well, Red was the album where I started paying attention to it. To be honest, I knew she was a thing before that, but I remember vividly it was We're Never Getting Back Together.
We are never, ever, ever getting back together. We are never, ever, ever.
And I Knew You Were Trouble, which is still an absolute karaoke standard for me.
I knew you were trouble when you walked in. So shame on me now, flew me to places
And the whole album written about one Jake Gyllenhaal.
I didn't know that actually.
I knew, but I didn't know it was every song except like I think 2 which people attribute to Harry Styles. So yeah, it's this whole, there's 9 years age difference, and the all too well, the best song off Red.
'Cause there we are again on that little town street. You almost ran the red 'cause you were looking over at me.
Obviously she's released a 10-minute version with a short film, is very specifically about Jake, and he has had a bad weekend. I'll tell you right now, if you put Jake Gyllenhaal into Twitter, it is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But also if you read
come across well.
No, all the right-wing media are kind of calling her, it's almost like revenge porn. Like she's, being unfair and bullying Jake Gyllenhaal, and then like all the left are kind of like, yeah, fuck you, Jake. And Dionne Warwick tweeted, if that young man has Taylor's scarf, he should return it.
So that relates to a lyric, right? In All Too Well, she says, you've still got my scarf.
But you keep my old scarf from that very first week, 'cause it reminds you of.
And the scarf is very prominent in the short film. So Jake is just getting dragged. Jake is also dating someone who's Taylor's age when they first met. I think he's dating a 21-year-old now, and Jake's 40.
Wow.
But I've been reading a lot of stuff about her today because I knew we were talking about it. And it's interesting. People are very family divided. Oh, she always paints herself as the victim, the blameless victim who gets wronged. And I'm like, didn't we all when we were that age and got dumped? Like,
100%. I still feel it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a Taylor Swift stan. I really am. You are. We always have been. She lost her way a bit.
I definitely felt like she went through a defensive phase that sort of became tricky. And it's like, you're the richest young woman in the world. You're so popular. Like, don't be so defensive about things. And also, like, I remember she was so often writing about feuds that she was having and everything like that. And it felt like, you're amazingly talented. Like, enjoy your life, enjoy your power, enjoy. But then again, I feel like the thing I love about her. One of the things I love, mostly I love about it is just the sheer friggin' talent. I mean, as a writer, whoa, like, but also she genuinely evolves. Like, she's always evolving. And the only times I've ever sort of struggled with her is when it feels like she's harking back to things that she's done before. But that's rare. Like, I can't, it's hard to think of many artists that became so famous so young and that have been able to just keep with every stage of their life into their 30s. Pushing into new territory and getting more interesting and more revealing in their lyrics, and also just I love that she there's something powerful about it, and this whole thing feels really powerful. The fact that she was disempowered by this deal, and she's turned it to her advantage, and she's going to make a freaking fortune from these.
Number 1 all-time streamed album on Spotify by female artists.
And it wouldn't have happened unless this whole Scooter Braun thing had happened. And I love that she was unambiguous about it. She called it as she saw it, and she went out and she put her money where her mouth is, and she's won.
Totally won. And also probably inspired another generation of artists to make sure that they do own their rights and they are asking those questions. But the thing I love most now is I feel like she's home. Like, there's this kind of weird need in the pop world of the reinvention. What's my theme going to be? What's my vision board? Katy Perry does it. I mean, Madonna obviously pioneered it, but Madonna always maintains the Madonna pull-through. No matter what phase Madonna's in, she stays Madonna to her, center. But when Katy comes out, when Taylor was coming out and there was this weird back and forth, Rihanna was doing it for a bit. It's this whole, chuck everything out that we did previously and start again with a new vibe, new concept, new colours, new stylists, new dance routines. And now it feels like Taylor's landed in where she's going to be for the next 30 years. And, that's this amazing, one of the greatest American songwriters. And she does deserve to be up there with Bob Dylan and Bruce Springsteen. And I'm not joking.
No.
And Leonard Cohen, while her lyrics may not be as poetic or as poignant at times, she's a great storyteller. And that's what you want from music.
And super accessible. And that's hard to achieve too.
Yes, I agree. So, I'm just I feel like she's my friend, and I just feel like she's come out of really great therapy. She's got a great partner.
And she's comfortable with her legacy. And a lot of artists go through this, or they go through that period of time where their early work, there was a period of time where you would never catch Madonna singing Material Girl.
No.
And
John Farnham will never sing Sadie the Cleaning Lady.
Even Kylie Minogue went through a period of time when she was feeling like she wanted to go a bit more indie, and you would not get a nice piece of lucky out of her. But then you move past that, and I love that Taylor is not just comfortable with her past. She's fully embracing it and reinterrogating it and repackaging it, she's a hero. She's cool. I hope she goes for another 80 years, and I think she will.
She is a fucking hero. I agree. I love it. Yes, Taylor. We won't talk about Adele because that's airing on Sunday night. So we'll watch it. And
we will. Trust me, we will talk about it next time. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. We will talk about it. I don't agree with the wardrobe choice on Oprah. I'm happy to say that publicly. I feel like she looked like First Wives Club member. That's what I'm calling it. And I think, like I said to you, Taylor and Adele are the same age. And that blows my mind. It just blows my mind that one seems to be 31 and the other does not. But we love Adele, obviously. Amazing.
But Adele seemed 40 when she was 19, though.
True. And so did I guess, in ways. So did you.
Yeah, I was.
We'll talk about that next week if you're wondering. Other than that, I think we've covered everything, and I genuinely don't have the energy to continue.
Look, you haven't shat yourself that I'm aware of, and that's a victory.
I haven't had solids today yet. That's why I didn't want to risk it. Did not want to risk it. So we'll go on a win. And I can't even fart with confidence. Even if I cannot even pass a cheeky nothing because I'm worried about the follow through. So nary a fart has crossed my anus this entire time. I'll see you Friday night. You're coming to my house with Adrian.
To watch Tick Tick Boom, which I'm very excited about.
Tick Tick Boom. Oh, we'll talk about that too. Oh my God, so much to talk about. But in the meantime, everyone go listen to Red and just reminisce. I mean, we're a bit 10 years older than most of the Swifties, but we still loved it. How old were we?
I know. I have
2012.
Totally unabashedly juvenile musical taste. I can't deny it. Yeah, Taylor's a solid 10 years younger than me, isn't she?
Yeah, exactly, almost, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I still feel like she's wiser than me.
100%. I'll listen to her.
But she got started early. I was in Arrested Development. I was, because I always thought I was straight. And that's so, you can't count those years.
No, you did. All right, talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
This is Emsolation.
Well, that's it. You got to the end. Well done. What was that voice? Who are you? I felt a bit insecure after that because it was a lot of Taylor Swift analysis. There wasn't a lot of gag, laugh, ha, ha, ha. But then we did talk about shitting ourselves, so maybe it was a healthy balance. As soon as I press stop on the record, I say to Michael, was that okay? Every week. Was that okay? It's different each week. This week I'm weak. This week I am weak. Hey, while I've got you, this is another very first world problem. I accept it, but it doesn't make it any less of a big thing in my life. But I just want to preface it with this is a very privileged problem. Spotify, our lovely, wonderful Spotify, who we love, specially asked me to attend the Podcast Awards in Sydney on December the 2nd. And It ignited a kind of terror and fear and anxiety in me that I haven't felt in a while. But I want to go because I love Prithvi and the entire team, who are mainly made up of women at the Spotify podcast arm, and I would genuinely do anything for them. And I want to champion podcasting in this country, and I want to champion our podcast. I'm getting over myself. Oh, what a hero. No, and I just am worried I'm going to say the wrong thing and offend people. So maybe, I have started telling people about my brain, so I'll just do that on the night. And let's be honest, at a podcast awards, there'd be a few other weirdos there. So what I'm saying to you is, in a roundabout way, we aren't really nominated for anything because we didn't put in any nominations. But we are up for People's Choice. Every podcast in the world is up for People's Choice. It's a popularity contest, plain and simple. Basically, we just need you to vote for us. I'm going to make sure Marcella puts a link in the socials tomorrow on Instagram. And in the newsletter that goes out, Ben will make sure there's a big prominent spot. It will take you 2 seconds. All you need is an email address. Doesn't cost you money, nothing. It'll do nothing for you. But just imagine on the night if our name gets read out. Not that it will, because there are other podcasts who have so many more listeners than us that will win. But imagine if you all banded together somehow, got all your friends and family to vote for us that don't even have to listen to us. If every single person sent it to 5 people, like a chain mail, but a positive chain mail, imagine that. If you fill this out, you will be so much joy will enter your life. And if you don't, nothing will happen. Like a positive chain mail. I would be very grateful. It's a scenario I dare not imagine because it would be too good if I was just happened to be there on the night and we happened to win. We won't, but imagine. But we won't, but what if, but we won't. We could if you guys all got together because you're a very strong community. And Prithvi, if you're listening, Spotify, if you're listening, I want to be there. You know what I'm like. I'm just workshopping. You all know what I'm like. It's going to be great. The Emsolation listeners are going to be there. I'm going to live stream it on the Emsolation Instagram, little bits and pieces. Don't worry. It's going to be a thing. We're going to make it an event. But that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I kept forgetting, but that is it. So go and vote for us in the People's Choice at the Australian Podcast Awards. You can Google it if you can't wait. But otherwise, if you want to wait, Marcella will put a link up. My daughter, who's the social media captain. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to get your tickets to Emsolation Live. Make sure you are following us on the socials. Sign up for the newsletter. I'm trying to build this whole big infrastructure around you so we're one big community, a hub. I want to be Joe Rogan, but not that, but that size of kind of thing, but not that stuff, content. Anyway, moving on. Have a great week. Michael's coming over Friday night for a movie night, which is always fun in this house. And Tilla's coming over as well. And, it's going to be a fun, nice weekend. I'm going back to bed and I'm going to have a drink of water. It's fine. I'll be fine, guys. Narrator. She is not fine. All right. Have a good week. Talk next week. Bye. Should I say week anymore? #week? God. Bye.
Emsolation with Em Rusciano is a Spotify exclusive podcast hosted by Em Rusciano with Michael Lucas. Executive produced by Benjamin Wasley. Produced by Em Rusciano. Edited by Ezekiel Fan at Entente Music. With videos by Liam O'Brien. Socials by Marcella Rusciano Barrow. With assistance from Jem Evans and Georgia Watts. Plus occasional technical wizardry, wine and coffee from Em's dad Vince. Get more Emsolation by following the Emsolation podcast on Instagram, where you can also sign up for our weekly newsletter. You can join other Emsolators at the Emsolation group on Facebook. The answer is Harry Styles. If you love what we do, share this podcast with a friend and make sure you're following us on the Spotify app. Thanks for taking time out to listen to this week's episode, and we look forward to chatting with you again soon.